Fred MacGuffin reviews Millennium. 1989. And yes, I bought a video cassette of Batman when I was a kid. 1980, yeah, it's from 1989. And this movie was on the trailers for Batman. And that videotape must have cost me about 60 pound, 60 pound, 60 pounds. And this trailer was on it, and it looked great. And it's a sci-fi movie. Chris Christopherson, Cheryl Ladd, looking like a sci-fi. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to spoil this. This is a MacGuffin spoiler review, so beware. This is available to watch on YouTube, so check it out. And if you like sci-fi movies, if you like time travel movies, I'm going to spoil this, so I warned you. And we have, okay, Christopher and Cheryl, I said all that. We have Robert Joy, we have Daniel J. Travanti from Hill Street Blues, and we've got sci-fi, we've got drama, we've got a thriller. And okay, director Michael Anderson, MVP here. This is the main man. He's also directed The Dam Busters, The Quiller Memorandum, Logan's Run, classic sci-fi, Orca, classic. What do they call it? It's like a hidden gem, Orca. If you like Jaws, check out Orca. Richard Harris, Killer Whale. Yeah, it's a good one. Round the World in 80 Days, 1956, and The Wreck of the Mary Deer, and Summer of the Monkeys. So yeah, good director behind this, and we have Chris Christopherson, famous singer, actor. You may have seen him in Blade 1, 2, and 3, Payback, A Star is Born, Heaven's Gate, and Lone Star, and a lot more. And yeah, I like his performance. Oh, Packard and Billy the Kid, he's also in that. His performances are he's very cool for a customer. He's very hard to excite. He's a cool dude. And he plays Bill Smith, and he's a crash investigator for NTSB, which is the National Transport Safety Board. And he's to determine whether we've got two planes have crashed, and he's determined whether human error is the cause of this collision in the air of the airplanes in the sky. And he's got a team of investigators. He's the head honcho. He's the boss. He's the MVP. And yeah, he's there figuring out this plane crash, and he's listened to the voice recording, the black box. And on the black box, all these investigators, they hear something strange. They hear one of the pilots saying that they're all dead, and this is before the crash has happened, before it's about to happen. So they're trying to figure out why he said that. What did he mean by that? And he meets Cheryl Ladd. Louise Baltimore's her character, and Cheryl Ladd you may know from Charlie's Angels TV show from the 70s, Poison Ivy, and Las Vegas the TV show. And she's also been in a lot of other stuff, but I know her from Charlie's Angels. And yeah, he forms a relationship. He meets her on the job, and she's serving coffee. She's an air hostess. And then he meets her again outside of work, and they hit it off. They have a relationship. But then he goes back to the hotel. He leaves her in the hotel room, and he goes back because he's forgotten something, and she's gone. Poof, gone. And then we see him investigating. He's in the hangar where all the parts of the two airplanes are trying to reassemble, and he finds a strange device. And this device is from, here we go, time travelers. Yes, Louise Baltimore is a time traveler, and She arrives in the hangar to collect the thingamajig, the MacGuffin. Oh, and it's a, I think it's a stunner. It stuns people, and she uses it. I'll tell you what she uses. But he, she comes back with her time traveling buddies to get this stunner. And he gets stunned by it, and he collapses just as they're arriving. He zaps himself, and he's paralyzed on the ground, but he can still see what's happening. And he calls out her name. Well, she's dressed up in her future gear, and so are her friends. And she gets the stunner and leaves. And in a bright, lighty time travel thing. And yeah, he calls out her name. And she's confused. She's watching this back from future Earth, 1,000 years into the future, where Earth is a mess. And the only way they can, I mean, yeah, what they have to do in the future is they're taking people from planes that are about to crash. So basically, they're rescuing them. So they're taking people from these planes that are about to crash, and they're going to use them in the future to reinvigorate the world, because people are sick and dying, and the world's a terrible place, and they're trying to rebuild. And I think that's so they're taking the people out of the planes that are about to crash with their future technology and putting in dead bodies that are made to look like the people that are taken. So they're giving them fingerprints, and their teeth are the same. So they're putting zombie type people on to replace them. So when the plane crash, it does crash. It looks like all the bodies are there, all their sort of doppelgangers are there, but they're not really. So if you like that sort of concept, that's what you get here. So we're seeing into the future worlds. We're seeing Louise's boss, Coventry, who looks pretty cool. Yeah, the future. I think the sci-fi element of this looks good. I like the concept. I like what the special effects about. It's not a. I don't think this had a cinema release, so it went straight to video back in the 80s, and I suppose you could call it a expensive TV movie too. But look, you have Chris Christopherson here and Cheryl Ladd, so you got two strong actors here, and you also have Michael J. Travanti, who plays Arnold Mayer, Professor Arnold Mayer. He's a theoretical physicist, and you may have seen him in Hill Street Blues, the TV show, Just Cause, and he's done a mountain of TV work. And he he seems to know what's going. He seems to have these theories about what's going on, and yeah, so he gives a lecture on time travel, which uh, Bill Smith sits in on. So he's become to question after what he's seen in the hangar. He's become to question what's going on, and he starts getting to realize that Professor Mayer is onto something. And we also have, when we go into the future where Louise comes from, she's a specialist. She's the top of her profession, time traveler. And in the future, she's given, uh, you know, the best of food and medicine, and to keep her looking healthy so she can go back in time. And there's a robot in the future called Sherman, played by Robert Joy. And you may have seen him in Land of the Dead, The Hills of Eyes, 2006, Waterworld, and Don't Look Up. And he's done a mountain of work. And you won't know him on this because of the makeup and the robot costume, but yeah, he's a legend. So that's the basic outline of the story. Time travelers coming back and taking people from planes that are about to crash, and sort of repopulating the future, and yeah, trying to keep keep the human race alive. And yeah, so I wasn't looking for much from this. Um, I found it on YouTube, and I really wanted to see this because I have vague memories of it. And It's not that bad. Maybe it's nostalgia for me. I mean, it's yeah. Look, I like sci-fi, so and I like the time travel sort of element to this, and we get time paradoxes, and we get quake. I suppose we get time quakes. So if the time travelers go back and do something wrong, or get even Bill Smith discovering or seeing the time travelers causes a paradox. It causes time quakes in the future. So if the time travelers mess up badly, they can cause the future to just wipe out. They can destroy the future. And so yeah, it depends if you like time travel stuff. If you don't like your head melted. And what else do we have in this? So let's get back into the plot. We have Louise wondering why Bill Smith knows her name because she didn't tell it to him. So Sherman and Coventry tell her that obviously you must have gone back in time and met him, and he knows your name. So what does that mean now? What does that mean? She has to go back. I'm losing my now. See, this is time travel problem. She goes back anyway in time, and then she has a relationship with him, and this is where Fred MacGuffin has a meltdown due to the intricacies and the confusion of time travel in this movie. See him there trying to figure out what's happened. He's having a meltdown. We see scenes of Louise doing her job. She goes back in time to 1963, and we see her team taking over the airplane and taking the people that are about to lose their lives in the plane crash off the airplane and replacing them with the doppelgangers. And on the plane, we meet a younger Bill Smith, who's the only survivor of this crash. And there's a bit of a hijacking attempt on the plane. And as this happens, one of the time travelers loses their stunner, little gadget stunner. And come on, Fred, hold it together. You can do it. Come on, Fred. Fred, go on, Fred. So Bill has met her before. He's met her on this airplane. It's Louise's team are doing this rescue. So yeah, that's a nice little, I like that plot point on that he's met her before and he sort of remembers her in the future. And yeah, what else? Hold on. Due to the intricacies of this movie's plot and storyline, Fred has had a meltdown. Bear with us. He'll be back. 1 hour later. So the piece that's left, so the time travel equipment that's left on the airplane is found, and from the plane crash wreckage, and Arnold Mayer gets his hands on it, and that's what's made him sort of question this whole time travel thing and got him thinking about it. And we have Bill, of course, now he's now interested in time travel, and he goes to meet Arnold Mayer, Professor Mayer. And while he's there, Louise comes through from her time travel, the future, special effects, and she wants the equipment back. She wants the time travel stunner back, and Professor Mayer has a piece, and Bill Smith has a piece. So once Mayer sees her, Professor Mayer sees her, he knows he was right, and there's a bit of a chat about what they're doing and time travelers are doing. But for some reason he stuns himself. He starts because he gets the piece of Bill Smith that he has, and he puts his piece together. And when he does that, it turns on the stunner, and he stuns himself, and he kills himself. So this causes a huge paradox because he shouldn't die this early. He's got 6 years of life left, and he's very important for the future. And yeah, this means that Bill Smith goes back with Louise because it's caused a big time paradox. And when they get back, there's a huge time quake, and yeah, it's basically going to wipe out future timeline. So all the people that they have from the airplanes, they send them off on their time machine into the future or somewhere in time. And once this paradox is over, and once this time quake is over, and Bill won't leave without Louise, so the two of them go off into the future. And or I think that's what it's about, or somewhere else they zap off with all the people from the planes somewhere else. And hopefully it's a happy ending. It's not the beginning of the end. It's the end of. It's not the beginning. Oh, what is it? It's not the beginning of the end. Anyway, just watch the movie. You'll see. Okay, so that's it. That's about it. Yeah, nice to see this. As I said, the trailer got me interested in this, and it's a good watch. Okay, it's not going to get a. It's not a classic. Good B movie watch. It's a 3 out of 5, and yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I like Chris Christopherson and Cheryl Ladd. So, and maybe nostalgia is giving me that sort of 3 out of 5. It should probably have a 2. But look, there's great special effects, great idea, and it's well done. And yeah, check it out on YouTube. Fred's been watching Millennium. Fred MacGuffin reviews. Ha 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 ha. Millennium.